Hey everybody, welcome back to Ink Play Quest. Today we're going to be reviewing all of the cards from Azurite Sea in Ruby for Cube. As a reminder, we rank cards in tiers. A tier cards are clearly powerful, they're in the top 10% of their color. B tier cards might get there, I'm happy to try them out in my cube. C tier cards are marginal or replaceable, probably only putting these in if I have a vanilla character I'm trying to replace at the same ink cost. D tier cards are just too weak or too narrow. Very specific archetypes are just understated. And vanilla cards are characters or locations that have no effect or just one keyword. These I'm trying to phase out of my cube. And here, let's start off with the vanilla characters in Ruby. There are 7, and I mean, there are a few that are interesting, right? There's like the 4-cost Kakamora that is rushed for 5 might get there because, you know, that hits for a lot early on, but the rest not super excited about. Well, the 3-cost 5-2 Pete is interesting. Relevant keywords and 5 strength at a 3-cost, but probably not putting any of these in. I'll look at the Pete. I'll keep an eye on him, but probably not. Alright, first up, we have Mickey Mouse Pirate Captain. 5-cost inkable, 4/4 that quests for 2. He has shift 3. Whenever this character quests, chosen pirate character gets +2 power and gains. This character takes no damage from challenges this turn. I think he's a C. I think even though this is restricted to pirate characters and can't really choose itself. I mean, it could choose itself, but the only way he can benefit from it is if he can ready after questing. I think the effect is strong enough that we'll put this guy as a C. If you have one other pirate, this is obviously a very strong effect. Or if you have ways to ready Mickey, it's pretty good. You can quest, ready him, and then challenge something and take no damage. But I think being restricted to pirates makes this, you know, on the lower end of effects. So we're going to put him at C. Kakamora Pirate Pitcher, 2-cost inkable 1/3 that quests for 1. When you play this character, chosen pirate character gains evasive until the start of your next turn. So this just compares pretty poorly compared to the Gazelle in Emerald from this set, so this is a D. Great effect, but only restricted to pirate characters. Can't really think of a way for him to choose himself and this be relevant, so D for Kakamora. Jasmine Rebellious Princess, 3-cost inkable, 2/3 that quests for 2. Whenever this character quests, each opponent loses 1 lore. This is great. I think this is a really cool effect. This is, you know, just 1 strength less than a vanilla 3-cost character, but it has this powerful effect of draining your opponent off of lore. I think lore drain is, you know, not obviously as powerful as gaining lore, but it can set your opponent off on their timing for questing for lethal, and I think she's pretty good. I'm going to give her a B. Raya Kumandran Rider, 4-cost inkable, 3/3 that quests for 2. Once during your turn, whenever a card is put into your inkwell, you may ready another chosen character of yours. They can't quest for the rest of this turn. So, okay, so Ruby does not have a huge amount of extremely strong cards in this set. They have a lot of pretty good cards, but I think this ability has the potential to be very good offensively and defensively, so I'm going to give her an A. This is a tentative A, but this may be the best Raya we've seen. Because you can use this defensively, you can protect your fragile questers, or you can ready. So the readying doesn't have to be after they quest, so you can challenge and then ready and then challenge again, or you can quest and then ready and challenge, or quest and ready and keep them up, ready to be protected. I think this is a flexible ability, another one of the best whenever a card is put into your inkwell effects that we've seen. So I'm going to start Raya off at A, excited to try her out, and we will see if I am proven wrong here. Wendy Darling, Courageous Captain, 2-cost uninkable 1/2 that quests for 1 with evasive. While you have another pirate character in play, this character gains +1 strength and +1 lore. I think this is pretty bad. I think it's a D, maybe on the higher end of unplayable. But the 2-cost evasive that quests for 1 is, there aren't a ton of characters with that, but this is uninkable, and it's just like is a 2/2 that quests for 2 if you have another pirate. I don't quite think this is worth it. I mean, yeah, no, there are better 2-cost evasives. Wendy's a D. John Silver, Ferocious Friend. 4-cost uninkable 2/4 that quests for 2. Whenever this character quests, you may deal 1 damage to another chosen character of yours. When you do, ready that character. They can't quest for the rest of this turn. Okay, so again with the 5 keywords here: Storyborn, Villain, Alien, Pirate, Captain. I think this is a pretty strong effect. I think this benefits both the readying and double challenging, or readies the enables the self damage theme, which there's not a lot of, but there are some payoffs in Ruby. I really want to make the 5-cost evasive Donald work from a couple sets ago. That gains lore pips when he has damage on him. I think this is. I'm pretty high on any of these ready effects. I think they generally play out pretty well in Cube. So I'm starting with B for John Silver, Ferocious Friend. Uninkable is not great, but it's okay. Next up, we have Vanellope von Schweetz, Gutsy Go Getter. That's got to be close to the longest name and subtitle of any character in Lorcana. 3-cost inkable 2/3 that quests for 1. At the start of your turn, if this character is at a location, draw a card and gain 1 lore. I think this is great. I think this is solidly a B. There are, as I've said in some of the last videos, there are a lot of cool location payoffs and some cool locations in this set. I think this is maybe when locations will start finally sort of reaching the power level that I think everybody wants them to be at, which is better than they are. And this is a great character to just stash in one of your locations. Like, think about this at Queen's Castle, right? You're drawing 2 and gaining 3 lore off of Castle, assuming that she lives. I think that's great. I think this is a 3-cost inkable character, flexible. This is a B. I'm putting her in my cube for sure. Mickey Mouse, Courageous Sailor, 2/4 quests for 1 is a 3-cost inkable. While this character is at a location, gets +2 strength. I think this ability has not panned out for any characters that have had it so far. While this character is at a location, they gain strength or gain lore or something. Yeah, he's a D. I don't think this is where I want to be. This is not the kind of character that I want to put out of location. This is not the benefit that I want to have from putting a character out of location, and the baseline character is too weak. Yeah, it's a D for me. Okay, Adora Beazle Winter Pop Ice Rocket Racer. Okay, that's also pretty long. 3-cost inkable 1/5 that quests for 1. While this character has damage, she gets +1 lore pip. I just also think this is a D. I think... So, bulky characters with only 1 strength just haven't really impressed me at all in Cube. There are several characters that have like just a ton of willpower but very low strength. I don't think this is going to be good, even if you have the 1 extra lore on it. She's always going to trade card disadvantageously. Like, this is never going to take something out. You're not going to challenge into her with a 5/1 or anything. So... yeah, that's a D. Moana Self-Taught Sailor, 1-cost inkable 3/2 that quests for 1. Okay, so this is a pretty awesome... and then this character can't challenge unless you have a captain character in play. Normally, I would knock a character for having this sort of restrictive line of text, but I think this is just such a good body on a 1-cost character that I'm giving her a B. And there are some good Moanas. There's a Shift Moana later that I think is pretty exciting. Yeah, so you can just quest with Moana, and then basically nothing is going to be able to trade for her advantageously for the first several turns of the game. 3 strength is a lot of strength, and then there are a lot of captains in Lorcana. One that comes to mind is either Captain Hook or Pooh, Pirate Captain, but no, there are a ton of captains. I think this is a pretty awesome, just strict upgrade for most of the vanilla Ruby 1-drop characters, so definitely going to put her in my cube. Aladdin Intrepid Commander, 4-cost inkable 1/4 that quests for 2. He is Floodborn, has Shift 2. When you play this character, your characters get +2 strength this turn. I think this is awesome. This is a really cool character. I don't think we've seen other effects like this that give your entire board plus strength in a turn, so I'm going to start him at B, and maybe could even be pleasantly surprised, right? Because this is sort of this is a powerful boost your whole board effect. It can come down on turn 2 if you shift him onto a 1-cost Aladdin. Don't think that's really going to happen that often, but hey, coming down as a 2-drop 3/4 that quests for 2 is pretty cool. But this coming down on 4 and then just like trading into a couple of their things favorably is pretty awesome. Like this into, or using this to buff up your like 1-cost Diablo or 2-cost Cusco to both take something of theirs out and draw a card for your character being banished. That's exactly where I want to be. Or like Hey, or the kinds of cards that recur back to your hand. This is a great card, putting them in my cube for sure. Minnie Mouse Pirate Lookout, 3-cost, uninkable 3/2 that quests for 1. Once during your turn, whenever a card is put into your inkwell, you may return a location card from your discard to your hand. All right. Could be wrong here, but I'm going to start her out at an A. Another one of these powerful card put into your inkwell effects. I think the reason why this could be an A is because it loops really well with Sugar Rush Speedway, the new 2-cost location Amber that draws you 3 and gains you 3 lore. You can, every turn you can banish. You can move a character into that, banish it, and then get that back with this Minnie Mouse effect. And I just think that, you want to get your castles back, you want to get your hidden coves back, you want to get your pride lands back. This is awesome. Graveyard effects are, I found them to be pretty powerful in Lorcana, and this is another powerful recursive loop that doesn't have much of a downside. Yeah, I'm giving her an A. Moana Kakamora Leader, 7-cost inkable 6/5 that quests for 1. She is Floodborn and has shift 5. When you play this character, you may move any number of your characters to the same location for free, gain 1 lore for each character you moved. Yeah, this is a pretty powerful effect, but it requires a lot of setup for it to really go off. I'm going to give her a B for the reason that she could do this on herself and gain 1 lore. You can play her, move her immediately to a location for free and gain a lore. Seems good. But you can, move your whole board to a location and gain a bunch of lore. But this is a 7-cost character or a 5-cost if you shift her. Decent stats, understated obviously. But I think the promise of the upside is pretty strong here, and again, more location payoffs. We like to see it, and I'm not sure we have any other like pretty powerful shift Moana, so I like to see that. Yeah, we're gonna start her at B. Goofy, Flying Goof, 6-cost uninkable 5/5 that quests for 1. He has Rush and he has Evasive. I mean, that's decent to have those 2 effects on the same card with a big body. This is going to basically destroy any evasive that is tapped out. But I just think 6-cost uninkable with no way to get him down early is, marginal. I would rather have the 2/5 Rush Evasive Elsa, or there are other Rush Evasives, but so I think he's a C for now. But cool card, cool art, but I'm not sure I'm going to slot him in. Now, contrast that 6-cost character with this one. Maui Half Shark, 6-cost inkable 7/5 that quests for 1. He has Evasive. Whenever this character challenges another character, you may return an action card from your discard to your hand, and whenever you play an action, gain 1 lore. That's kind of crazy. Another lore gain outside of questing payoff, but with action recursion, which I think is extremely strong in cube when there's only one copy of every action in the cube. I mean, you can get back, you can do a lot of different things with this card. You can get back card draw. You can just recur your friends on the other side over and over again and draw a bunch of cards. You can get back exert effects to tap down their stuff and challenge them. You can get back an effect to ready Maui, so you can challenge multiple times per turn, and you can basically, if you have, say you play this on 6, you ink for 7, and you play the Fan the Flames, then you can take out as many characters as are exerted, and you just keep replaying Fan the Flames to ready Maui, take out another character, get Fan the Flames back, so you get as many lore as they have characters that you can challenge before Maui gets banished. I think there are a lot of interesting things you can do with this card, so I'm definitely giving Maui Half Shark an A. Excited to see how he's abused and constructed, but for cube, definitely a cool card. Hades Strong Arm, 5-cost uninkable 4/3 that quests for 1. Exert him and pay 3 ink, banish one of your characters. So a pretty steep cost, but you can banish chosen character. And you can do this, every turn. So I'm going to give this a B because the cost is very steep, but if you get it specifically with the new 2-cost Lilo, you can, for exerting him and paying 5 ink every turn, you can just Dragon's Fire them every single turn. And I had that I was playing a cube game earlier today on a simulator, and it was a lot of fun. I got to Dragon's Fire them like 4 turns in a row. So I think the upside is very high. The downside is if you don't have any other characters, this just does nothing. But I'm going to start with B. Definitely putting him in my cube because I love those little 2-card combos that are much more than the sum of their parts. So we're going to give Hades Strong Arm a B. Tigger in the Crow's Nest. 3-cost inkable, 0/4 that quests for 1. He's evasive. Whenever you play an action, this character gets +1 strength and +1 lore pip this turn. There are not a lot of payoffs for playing a bunch of actions all at one turn. We just saw one with the Maui. So I think this is a C. This is a 4 willpower evasive that quests for 1. It's decent. It survives from a lot of things, but 0 strength is not great. But the dream is, you use a couple actions, quest for 3. If you have a bunch of cheap actions in a deck, I don't know. This may be on the lower end of C, but I see the vision. And flexible enough to work in any deck that just uses a bunch of actions. But like I've said in the past, the use a bunch of actions deck is not really supported in my cube, but we'll see maybe in the future. But interesting card, great art. Scar, Heartless Hunter, 5-cost uninkable 4/2 that quests for 3. When you play this character, deal 2 damage to chosen character of yours, to deal 2 damage to another chosen character. So that's Teeth and Ambitions, as it's said on the card. The ability is the same name as the song. Teeth and Ambitions does the same thing. So a couple things to note. This is the Set Championships promo card for this set. The art is amazing. Very, very looking forward to getting my hands on one of those, maybe to include in my cube, but the card's not really amazing. I think it's a C. And the reason is there's a mandatory effect. So when you play this character, you have to deal 2 to chosen character of yours to deal 2 to another chosen character. If you misplay and play this on a board that has him and one of your other characters and no characters of your opponents, you're dealing 2 to one of your characters and 2 to another one of your characters. So he'll die, your other character might die, so don't do that. I think if you can support this guy, put damage on a character that wants damage to banish one of their things, and then you have a strong questing body here with Scar, I think that's good, but uninkable, not a Floodborn, so you can't shift them in early. I don't know. I'm going to try to fit them into my cube because I really want to put all the cards with Set Championship promos in my cube because I love the way that they look. But I think he's a little bit under on power level, but we shall see. All right, the first action of Ruby. Thievery. 1-cost inkable action. Chosen opponent loses 1 lore, gain 1 lore. I see what they're doing here, but I think this is a D. I think any action that just spends a card to get 1 lore, even though this has a minor upside of draining your opponent for 1, you need a critical mass of these to be able to make it work. If this was gain 1 lore, draw a card, that'd be absurd. They probably can't print that. Maybe if it was uninkable. But no, I think this is a D. Lead the way. 2-cost inkable action. Your characters get +2 strength this turn. So this is the effect that is on the new Aladdin card in its own action. I think it's fine. I think it's properly costed for what it does. I wish it was a song. That'd be pretty cool. I think it's a C, though. I'm probably not putting this in, but I see the appeal of wanting to just buff your board and then trade a bunch of their stuff. So this to think of this as a removal action, your character has to live. You really get upside if 2 of your characters favorably trade, but I think it's a C. The Islands I Pulled from the Sea. It's a 3-cost uninkable song. Search your deck for a location card, reveal that card to all players, and put it in your hand, then shuffle your deck. So this is the first tutor effect just on a card, not attached to a character that we have, I believe, in Lorcana. So tutor derives its name from vampiric and demonic tutor, 2 cards from Magic the Gathering that basically just let you search your deck and put a card in your hand or on top of your deck. So this does that for locations. I think the upside here is it is a song, so you don't have to spend any ink to use it if you have a character that can sing for 3. You can double sing it with Ursula, Deceiver of All. I always look at 3 cost or lower songs. And I love that this, synergizes well with all the new fun location payoffs. So I'm giving this a B. I think 3. So 2 cost is like where tutors become broken in Magic. I assume that they couldn't print this down at 2, even though it only searches locations, because they've sort of maybe learned from other games that is not that much more ink to add to the thing that you're looking for to make it broken. So I think this is properly costed. I think this should be good in like a location-focused cube deck. This is just ends up being like another copy of your Queen's Castle or your Sugar Rush, Speedway, or Library. So I'm giving it a B. Energy Blast. I love this card. I don't know if it's good, but I love it. 7 cost, uninkable action. Banish chosen character, draw a card. So, this is Dragonfire for 2 more. That draws you a card. Brilliant design. Love it. Love the art. Think it's good. I don't know how good it is. 7 cost is a lot, but unconditional banishing is good, so I'm going to give it a B. There's only, there are only so many cards that unconditionally banish cards in Cube. So I'm going to slot this into my cube and see if 7 cost uninkable is just too high of a cost. Are there ways to cheat this out? So Iago on 4, play this on 5. That's pretty good. Draw a card. I can't think of any other great ways. Cool card. Longboat, 2 cost uninkable action. 2 cost uninkable item. You can pay 2 ink, and you don't have to exert it. Just pay 2 ink. Chosen character of yours gains evasive until the start of your next turn. I think it's quite strong. I'm gonna give it a B. This does not give any increased stats, just gives evasive until the start of your next turn. So you can use it defensively or offensively. Great. You can use it multiple times per turn. It's cheap. Maybe I should have given this an A. I think this is on the high end of B. You get this down early and you can just keep giving your stuff evasive. That's great. Evasives are great in cube until proven otherwise. Yeah, this is a fun card. I'm going to put it in my cube. Gold coin, 1 cost, inkable item. Exert it and pay 1 and banish it. Ready chosen character of yours. They can't quest for the rest of this turn. I think I spent a lot of time talking about a couple cards that ready your stuff with this restriction on they can't quest the rest of the turn. I just think this is a D, though. I know that cheap inkable items are good with Hiram and other item synergies, but man, this is a 1 cost inkable action that does this and Fan the Flames. I don't know why. And this is just a one-time use only, and it costs 2 more ink in total. Fan the Flames is 1, right? Yeah, it must be, because the LeFou is 2. I think this is a D. I think it should be... I don't know. I don't think this is good enough. Card Soldier's Spear. 1 cost inkable item. Your damaged characters get +1 strength. I think this is fine. I think it's not great. Because this is only going to buff your characters when they have damage on them. Obviously, it's what the card says. But this is not like a passive buff to all your characters in that it's defensively only when your opponents have already challenged into your stuff. So it's conditionally defensive. But it's a nice boost to your damaged characters for a low cost. I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up being totally fine in an item deck. Just as a little tiny incremental advantage for not a lot of cost that you can hire them away later when you don't need it. But I'm starting with C. And then a couple more locations to round out Ruby. Both I don't think are great. Flotilla Coconut Armada. 2 cost uninkable location with willpower of 6 and a move cost of 2. At the start of your turn, if you have a character here, all opponents lose 1 lore and you gain lore equal to the lore lost this way. Clearly made for multiplayer, right? I mean, anything that says all opponents and is understated for what it does is, I think, designed for a multiplayer environment. Side note, multiplayer Lorcana is a lot of fun. You should try it out. But I think this is a D in cube and a D in single player or 2-player constructed. Just not enough, right? It's kind of understated in all of its Dimensions. Yeah, no, I'm not looking for this in a 1v1 environment. And finally, Skull Rock, Isolated Fortress. 2 cost, inkable location, move cost of 1, willpower of 6. Characters get +1 strength while here. And then at the start of your turn, if you have a pirate character here, gain 1 lore. Again, with the pirate synergies, just not super into this. Like the 2 cost cycle of vanilla locations, are they 6 or are they 7 willpower? But this is not that much better. Requires a pirate to be there to gain lore, and it gives your characters a minor upside, but like Hidden Cove is way better than this. Yeah, this is a D. Okay, well, here is Ruby. Like I said earlier, there's, I think, less at the very, very top end of Ruby as compared to the previous colors, but a lot of like pretty solid cards that I'm excited to try out. A lot of Bs, and then, you know, the As. I think Maui Half Shark is clearly very good. Minnie and Raya, maybe not quite as good as the A's from the previous colors, but, you know, not every color can be absolute bangers all the time. But there are a lot of cards I want to try out here. And yeah, the Hades and Lilo combo is real, so you should try that out in your cubes. Let me know what you think of my tier list for Ruby. I hope you enjoyed this video. Next time, we will be talking about Sapphire, the penultimate ink color for Azurite Sea. Just a few more days left. I'm excited to get my hands on these cards. I will see you guys next time. Bye.